Do you want your content to be found on Google? Do you want your content to actually be consumed by your prospects and clients? Do you want those who read, listen to, or watch your content to take action? Or are you just counting likes and comments? Hi, I'm Randy Kirk, and this is Small Business Daily, where our goal is to help you make more money and take more vacations. Today, we'll tackle online content marketing. A little background. I created a website the year websites started. I was uploading YouTube videos the year YouTube started, and I started my blog the year that blogging became a thing. A lot has changed over that 27-year span, but the fundamentals are the fundamentals. And I'm betting that you are just like me. We all need a refresher on the fundamentals from time to time. So let's get into the details. Do you remember who, when, why, what, where, and how? This is the famous list you might have learned in Journalism 101. We were admonished that our story needed to address these 6 issues regarding the subject of the article to be written. The list was created primarily for newspapers and magazines. Using who, when, why, what, where, and how is great advice for online content too, but the list has new meaning for content marketers. Now you also have the perfect list of marketing elements you'll need to determine the media you will use to reach your audience. It will also help you think about the nature of your audience. Finally, it will help hone the message you are seeking to spend and the specific design of the content. As a marketing professional, today you are both blessed and cursed with the breadth and the depth of media options, both free and paid. But at the same time, the competition for eyeballs has never been so intense. If you are a local company, the job is difficult, but for national campaigns, 10 times so. Let's take each of these word prompts and put meat on the bones. First, who are you as a seller? And who are you trying to reach? Each of our interrogatives applies to both your own situation and that of your audience. In considering who, you will need a clear understanding of who you are in terms of your branding, pricing, positioning, and USP, unique selling proposition. Are you leading edge or steady as a rock? Do you brand yourself as a little bit quirky, think Geico, or flyover country, conservative? If you haven't already done so, you might want to create a description of your company's brand image or even break it down by products if there are significant differences between the different products. You might have one line that is cutting edge and another line that is unchanged for 40 years. You also want to think thoroughly about the who of your customer. How would you describe their demographics, their expectations, their position in the distribution chain, pain points, value of purchase, and more? The more you know about your audience, the better you will be at creating the content that will be attractive to them. For example, take the audience you want to address in terms of their position in the distribution chain. By that I mean, is the audience you are focusing on for this particular piece of content the end user or the consumer? Or is it the retailer, an owner, buyer, or salesperson? Or might it be a wholesale buyer or salesperson, and so forth? Sometimes it might be more than one of these positions. So for example, if you're creating a website content, it probably needs to be written so that everybody, regardless of their level in the distribution chain, will understand the content. But if you're sending an email blast or a targeted YouTube ad to a list of valuable buyers, you would often use jargon or inside information that only the wholesaler would find useful. Next, we consider when. When will your content be live and when will your audience view it? Sometimes the content is designed for a moment in time, say TikTok, and other times content is intended to be evergreen, your blog or your YouTube video. It could be still valid months or even years from now. Sometimes you might do a 10 or 20-minute video that has an educational tone that carefully leaves out anything which would make it irrelevant 3 years from now. As a companion to that evergreen item, you might create a teaser video designed to post on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, or other social media that is only good for a short time. For that, you might use a trending topic so that you can catch and hold attention. Another consideration might be that the content needs to be consumed in a specific window of time in order to be relevant to an event or the season or some other content. You also might consider whether the timing might be in conflict with competition for the audience's attention. Consider you might make a fantastic video that takes 20 hours to create and edit, subtitle, and prep, only to release it during the first day of the trade show where your audience will be unlikely to watch anything on YouTube. There are days of the week or times of day when your audience is most likely available depending on the media used. You can Google this information so you can look up best time to go post a business subject on Facebook. On the other hand, some of these experts providing the suggested release times aren't able to figure out the reality for every single audience. Experiment and see if you can figure out your specific best times to go live. The all-important why. Why will your audience care? And why are you spending the time and money to communicate this message? The why is often overlooked by marketers. There's a sense that we need to keep pouring out content without any regard for the why. It is possible that your why is just to stay visible. But if staying visible is your only goal, the content could easily become boring, irritating, or even raise objections to your products or services. Have you ever done that? You send out an email only to have one or more clients get upset with some part of the content in the email. So why this message to this audience at this time? Are you hoping to increase sales, broaden your brand awareness, respond to competitive pressures, or possibly announce some type of change? The potential list of reasons for your various messages is really long. However, if you can take a minute to get clarity regarding the why, your message will almost write itself. Then there is the audience's why. Why should your audience care? Does your message solve a problem for them? Does your message offer hope? Possibly you are responding to current news or competitive pressures. Never lose sight of the audience's why. Now we want to tackle what. What is your specific message and what about the message will resonate? For instance, maybe you are closing out a product line and thinking of offering 50 cents off, which is also 50% off. Which one of those will resonate more? Possibly you are making a change in a product or service and getting that info into the hands of your current client base, and that becomes critical. You want the content to resonate. What about the content will grab attention, the hook, and hold attention, the body of the article? For you and your company, the what has to do with the specific way you can solve your own need. You need to move old product. That's the why. What method will you use? Discounting, bundling, flooring, repackaging? It also has to do with what you are willing to spend to get the result. Sometimes it would be better to actually throw out the old merchandise than to spend money to sell it. Now, what kind of specific content appeals to your audience? It is one thing to be clear on the why, but then you can lose the opportunity to accomplish that why by failing to provide content that's exciting, funny, surprising, or helpful. Are you writing about an offer or action step that is impossible to ignore? Do your headlines and art or other elements of your hook stop the scroll? Does the subject line get the client to open the email? Does the headline inside the email respond to the promise of the subject line and also cause your customer to read on? Where will you run this content and where will your audience be when they see it? So let's get into the where. Media choices. Which media is most likely going to reach your audience? Which media are you the most comfortable with given your skill sets and experience? Which media is most likely to give you the bang for your buck? Where will your audience be consuming your content? Will they be at their desk in an office setting or at home in their lazy boy? Maybe they are most likely to listen to podcasts or even some video content while driving or at the gym. How can you hold their attention with these various distractions? How will they easily respond to a call to action step that you're offering if they're on a treadmill? Finally, let's talk about the how. How does your audience like to be sold, and how do you like to sell? For instance, on our recent email video, see the card above, we noted that generally speaking, folks prefer to be sold by email. But email has huge limitations on communicating your messages. So maybe your customer would prefer to be sold through a direct appeal on e-commerce, or maybe they're best reached on Facebook. Maybe they tend to look at Facebook or YouTube when they are relaxing or supposed to be working. But they aren't distracted by driving or exercise. Then there is your own preference. Maybe your company is really good at video, but not so great at still photos or ads. Maybe your product lends itself to long-form blog posts rather than to clever videos. So that's the story. And my intention with this video has been to scratch the surface on a very different way of thinking about content marketing. Hopefully these topics have created some new ideas of how you might think about your content prior to creating it. In other words, do the marketing work that will help your content to do its work. Please let me know in the comments if any of what we discussed today will help you refocus your content marketing. This is Randy Kirk, Small Business Daily. See you next time.